You enter the water. Beckoning beneath the waves is a magical world of vibrant sea flowers that have captured the imagination of ocean adventurers for centuries. Instinctively, you reach out, brushing your hand past the swaying kaleidoscope branches of this underwater flower bed. 10 minutes is all it takes to searing, unimaginable pain.
It was like being stabbed in the leg with a very, very large sword, straight in and kept going in as though it was of infinite length. It was pretty intense. There's not a lot that will assist with the pain.
Getting up close and personal with these lethal flowers of the sea is an easy mistake to make. Beauty belies a powerful force to be reckoned with. These water-dwelling predators, known as sea anemone, inhabit the tropical coral reef systems of Australia. They can be found from coast to coast from Western Australia's Ningaloo Reef, across the top end and into Queensland's famous Great Barrier Reef. Often mistaken for a plant, these kaleidoscope creatures come in an array of colors. They have a trunk or basal disc with a center mouth opening. Radiating from this disc, like branches of a tree, can be as few as 10 to a few hundred toxic tentacles. This potent toxin allows an otherwise immobile animal to very quickly paralyze and move tangled prey into its open mouth and intriguing digestive system.
In the center of the disc, you'll actually see there's a mouth, and it's actually the mouth and the anus at the same time. So they'll bring the food in and they'll digest it internally, and then any waste that's left over will come out the same hole.
Digestion aside, the most dangerous aspect of this unusual animal is its secret deadly weapon. Each tentacle is covered in stinging cells poised to fire a toxic harpoon at the slightest of touch.
Every anemone has a mechanism where it is able to catch prey. So all the tentacles that you see on a sea anemone will have what's called a nematocyst, or groups of nematocysts in the ends of the tentacles, or even along the tentacles. And what they are is essentially just a round cell-like apparatus with a coiled up harpoon inside. And when something touches the end of the tentacle, this harpoon will actually fire out and embed either the prey item or whatever brushes against the anemone.
Not all vertebrates are affected by this deadly harpoon. Certain species of anemone develop mutually symbiotic relationships with other animals. Small anemones attach themselves to disused mollusk shells inhabited by hermit crabs, a rather immobile creature now equipped with a new ride. This access to varied food sources encourages the anemone to grow symbiotically with the hermit crab, stretching its body across the shell of the crab so that it never outgrows its home. Large anemones fixed to rocky reefs provide predatory shelter to the clownfish, a known predator of anemone-feeding fish. The clownfish dwell and hide amongst the stinging tentacles of the sea anemone, a shield of mucus covering its body, serving as the only barrier to death by toxic missile. This extreme mix of toxins designed for deathly accuracy on vertebrates varies in intensity throughout the species. The Hell's Fire is one such anemone that can be incredibly dangerous to humans. Marine biologist Dr. Ashley Roberts Thompson comes into contact with a broad range of marine life on a daily basis. He discovered firsthand just how painful a sting from the Hell's Fire can be, whilst building a large outdoor coral reef on Queensland's Daydream Island.
At the time that I got stung, I was moving what's known as fire coral, which in itself is quite dangerous. I was in the lagoon and I had gloves, long sleeve, rash vest on to stop the sting getting to me from that. But as I moved that large piece of coral, something brushed my leg. And at that point, it took about 10 seconds from no pain to almost screaming agony.
With the immediate pain came immediate swelling. He was in for a world of trouble.
It was quite intense agony for at least 6 or 7 hours. There was no painkiller that achieved anything. It was certainly one of the most significant pain events in my life.
A brush with a Hell's Fire anemone not only brings with it searing, nauseous pain and swelling, but the same neurotoxins cause flesh decay at the site of the sting, as well as long-lasting muscle and nerve damage. Take a hit by one of these, and you're in for a long road to recovery.
When I got stung, it looked like I'd been burnt with 2 live electrical wires. There were 2 very purple scars on my leg. that swelled up like a blood blister almost. They were vivid purple. The toxin that actually got in had done a fair bit of work on the inside of my leg. The hair in the area around the sting all fell out. That flesh around there started to decay over the next 3 months. There's scarring down into the muscle itself, and you can feel that it's very bumpy, and there's quite a hole there as well.
There have been many reported cases of envenomation from highly toxic sea anemones. The Hell's Fire is just one species that can cause a lot of grief.
In my case, it was really just a very quick brush across my leg. But if someone fell directly in one or stood in one and all the tentacles closed over their foot, I really wouldn't like to think about how bad that could be. I think for a child it could be very, very dangerous.
Next time you take an adventurous plunge into the crystal clear waters of Australia's tropical reefs, resist the urge to touch those beautiful, enticing, elegantly dancing flowers of the sea.
If you see one, don't ever touch it. They're nasty. Very, very nasty.